Previously on Town Hall 10 Free-to-Play, we discussed the Miner Hog Rider hybrid attack. Today, let's talk about how to deal with the Eagle Artillery as a Town Hall 10. So we got an email this morning that I want to give a little bit of credit where credit is due. We got one here from Max that says, "Hello, just a quick video idea, how to deal with an Eagle Artillery as a Town Hall 10. I have just moved up to Town Hall 11 and matched up against them and having trouble with the artillery since I'm newish to the game and not a great attacker. Thought it might fit in well with the Town Hall 10 free-to-play series, especially with you nearing max. Love the videos and thanks." And he nailed it right on the head. I'm not even playing about that because we've gone through multiple strategies on how to take on a Town Hall 11, but it completely did not even cross my mind that you guys don't even know how to deal with an Eagle Artillery because you don't have one. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Joe. Welcome back for episode 52 of the Town Hall 10 free-to-play series. This is a progressive series where we play through all the daily struggles of Town Hall 10, and that also includes learning how the Eagle Artillery works on Town Hall 11s. That way we can take them down in Clan War leagues. So realistically, this video is going to be more of an informational video and a little less gameplay. That way, if you're not interested in that kind of stuff, this might not be the video for you. So some of you might be in Clan War leagues right now and you look across the map at your mirror and realize you got to face off against a Town Hall 11 or above. And naturally, one of the major changes once you go to Town Hall 11 is the addition of the Eagle Artillery and the Grand Warden. They counteract each other. One is a counter for the other. So the Eagle Artillery, when you start an attack, it doesn't appear to do much of anything. It just sits there idly and doesn't activate until a certain point in the raid. And then a lot of you guys might not actually play with your audio on, so you won't even hear it activate until you realize that your troops are under attack by a massive barrage of 3 rounds from the Eagle Artillery. And we've talked about this thing multiple times, but a lot of you guys don't understand what actually activates it. And so we got this replay going right now. I got a Queen Walk going, we got a couple of baby dragons, and then we spammed all of our troops. The Eagle Artillery was designed to stop spam. It was designed to shut down the golems. Back in the days of old, the golem attacks, the P.E.K.K.A.s, the golems, P.E.K.K.A.s, and wizards, they were a very popular army. And so the game wanted to kind of negate the use of golems and shutting down those attacks. And so you're going to realize that the barrage of artillery is being fired, but what causes that to activate? And this is where we go into the term called housing space. And so when you go into your barracks on your bases and you click the icon for a troop and you see a statistic that says housing space, that does not necessarily just apply to the army camps and how much you can hold in those army camps, but it also applies to the Eagle Artillery. So you'll see that the Eagle Artillery has basically shut down a lot of our troops, but we were still able to secure the 2-star. So spamming troops can sort of work, but a lot of players like to be a little bit more surgical, and I prefer the Queen Walk. So from here, let's go ahead and take a look at what activates the Eagle Artillery and how do we know when it's going to activate. Before we get into an example on how much housing space will activate the Eagle Artillery at level 1 and level 2, let's take a look at the barracks, and that way I can show you the housing space count for each of these troops. I'm not going to go through all of these troops. Let's just go ahead and select the wizard, and we're going to look for that stat that says housing space. Now, in this case, the wizard is a housing space of 4. When we jump over here to the healer is a housing space of 14. So most of you guys know this information already. When we get into the spells, however, the spells will show different counts. We got the rage spell that shows a count of 2. We got the freeze spell that will show a count of 1. But this is not necessarily true when it comes to the Eagle Artillery. We have found out through experience over the years with the Eagle Artillery, the housing space for a spell, any spell, is exactly 5 housing space. Now, when we jump over to our heroes, because this is also a very important troop that gets placed on the map and will activate the Eagle Artillery, it does not show a housing space for the heroes, but both of the heroes will be a housing space of 25 points. So when we know that information and we jump over into a replay and we put this all into action, we know that by now with the level 1 and level 2 Eagle Artillery, it will initiate its activation. It'll basically, the eye will light up at 150 points. It will actually start firing at 180 points. So in order to show this in live action, we got a replay set and I got a count place. So I'm going to drop certain troops in a way to show you the activation. I'm going to try to keep the Eagle Artillery in the frame. That way you can see it. So we're going to start out with a queen, which is 25 points. We drop a balloon, which is 5 housing space, and we dropped 5 healers, which was actually 70 housing space. So she's going to move up into an area, start clearing out some buildings. We're going to drop a baby dragon, which is going to be 10 housing space. And so we're going to drop 1, and then we're going to follow it up with additional 5 wall breakers, which is 12 housing space from the wall breakers, and a rage spell. So once that rage spell is dropped, that's another housing space, or another 5 housing space. The eagle has not been activated. You're going to see that it's very dormant. The eye is not lit up yet. We haven't caused it to start shooting at us, and this is why a lot of players like to queen walk into eagle artilleries and eliminate them if the base permits it. So we're going to keep going with this, and I do believe that we drop a poison spell at some point, and that is going to be another 5 housing space. So this queen's going to work her way in. Down goes the poison spell, and then we're going to add another 5 housing space with the freeze spell. The eagle is now lit up, so we have passed 150 points, and the queen is going to eliminate the clan castle troops. Now, I believe that we're going to place the Barbarian King on the far left side of the screen, but I don't really remember. There goes the king, so that's another 25 points. And then the queen is going to step in and start working on this eagle artillery. Now, if I drop 3 more of the baby dragons, we should activate the eagle. There goes the baby dragons, and the eagle artillery is going to be activated. Now, how do we stop it once it's activated? That's what the freeze spells are used for. The freeze spells are really the only thing that can stop the eagle artillery from firing, but you also need to be able to hear that it's ramping up or getting ready to start engaging your troops. So in this situation, this is just an example of a very popular army that a lot of players like to use, the queen walk baby dragon, and we use the queen to go in on the eagle artillery and take it down, but some bases don't necessarily permit this. We're going to secure a nice 2-star with the electron technique in the core of the base, taking down the town hall, and I just wanted to show you that example by counting out the troop housing space and what activates that eagle artillery. That way you can get a better understanding on why you see a lot of queen walks taking down eagle artilleries, and why a lot of players prefer it, because they got a really good solid count in their head on the attack and what's going to shut it down or what's going to activate it and have it firing down on your troops. So that is a lot of information to digest, and I understand a lot of you guys out there are not going to count troop housing space before you activate the eagle artillery. I don't even do it, but the one thing that I want you to take away from that is that you have to be a little patient in your attacks, and spamming troops will not necessarily provide you the best results. So we're going to watch this replay here from TRX on this very popular base design. Naturally, the base is not fully maxed out, but we are trying to get rid of the town hall as quickly as possible and using as limited troops as possible, or as little troops as possible. We dropped 4 earthquake spells. We got 2 baby dragons. That's 40 points. We got the balloon down. That's a 5-point add-on, as well as the Barb King being 25 points. And you'll notice that the eagle artillery has not been activated yet. It's still sitting there very idle. And we're going to try to get this queen to go directly into the town hall's area and clear it. So we got the queen down, we got the 5 healers, and another balloon. So you're going to notice that that eagle is now lit up. The eye is lit up, and it's getting ready to start activation and firing down on our troops. But you see how much of the base was cleared with just a couple of baby dragons and the Barb King, and now the Archer Queen. Now we're going to see a rage spell dropped here in a moment, which is going to cause activation of that eagle artillery. So the town hall will fall, and we will gain the 1st star. And realistically, we have 2 additional rage spells, which are going to be used to keep this queen alive while the eagle artillery targets it. And the queen's going to just basically clear out multiple buildings as she progresses around this base. This base just really kind of gives it up very nicely. He's not walking directly into an Inferno Tower. He's not worried about the Inferno Tower. He's also not worried about the eagle artillery right this second, because the rage spells will keep these healers going, healing that queen back up as she moves around the base. Now we got a few additional balloons dropped to try to clear out a few additional buildings, as well as looking for seeking air mines. That way this queen can continue to walk towards the right side of the base. And then we haven't seen any baby dragons yet, so we're up to 33%, and we're trying to really focus on that queen walk and get as much percentage as possible. That way the queen's soaking up all the damage from the eagle artillery, since that was not necessarily the main focus in this attack. Now we're going to see a battle blimp come into the base from the top side and be dropped to have the splash damage from that battle blimp destroy an air defense, which will allow our attacker to drop baby dragons around the base. Balloons are used to look for air traps. That way the baby dragons can be successful. And you'll notice that the queen was very successful with the assistance of gaining the second star. The freeze spell will be dropped on the Eagle Artillery to shut it down for a moment. And the baby dragons are going to be dropped around the base to basically try to get as much percentage as possible. That way we can try to secure the win in this Clan War Leagues. We got another mismatch. So we got a lot of Town Hall 10s versus Town Hall 11s. We're going to go ahead and speed this one up. That way you can see the final results and the army for yourself. And we're going to final out this video with one more replay from another Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 11 in our current day Clan War Leagues. I'm not on today's roster, but I will be on tomorrow's roster. That way, you know, I can start gaining those 8 stars. So let's finish up this video on this final replay, and I'm sure Elena is not going to be pleased with me showing it. However, this is a really good example of noticing little details and also very patient attacking being successful, even though certain things happen the way you don't want it to happen. So when we look at this base, this is a really bad base design. It's really poorly constructed, but we have a major hole that's right next to this wizard tower. Wow. In the previous replay, you saw the attacker not worry about the Eagle Artillery. In this attack, you're going to see a battle blimp with a Yeti and Valkyries inside come in and eliminate that eagle from the very beginning. So we got a balloon dropped, and then the battle blimp's going to come in and be dropped immediately on top of this location. Rage spell, Valkyries, and Yeti are going to eliminate the Eagle Artillery from the very beginning, while also pulling the Electro Dragon out of the clan castle. And so this is where the Electro Dragon is not necessarily the best defensive clan castle troop, because it can be taken out with a queen walk so easily. We got the Barb King dropped, we got the baby dragon dropped, and looks like we got a Valkyrie or two on the right side eliminating buildings as well. We're trying to set the funnel because I believe Elena wanted this queen walk to go into this area where the single target Inferno Tower is at, but that did not work out in that fashion. So the queen's going to be distracted on the clan castle troops, and her ability is going to need to be used. I think the rage spells were being saved for later in the raid, but it just wasn't possible. And so Elena's going to basically try to make the most out of this situation, dropping the wall breakers that go through the rage spell, and they're going to open up this compartment for the queen. But the queen has another agenda. She decides that she wants to go towards the right instead, and this is kind of where you have to play into the queen and how are you going to get in there and take down that town hall anyways. And this is where Elena is going to be very successful with patience and really negotiating the base and trying to fix the raid or fix the error that was not supposed to happen. This queen is going to continue her walk around the base and go up towards the top side. So we're going to see a balloon dropped and then a baby dragon to back it up, and we're targeting this single target Inferno Tower. You'll notice that we're not spamming troops, we're just being very patient right now. The baby dragon's going to work on that single target for a little bit longer, and it's going to get roasted, and then another one's going to be dropped to back it up. This pattern is going to be happening multiple times throughout the end of this raid. Baby dragon being dropped, going in and being targeted by certain things, finding air set skeleton traps, while that queen continues to walk up towards the top side of the base. Go figure. She is so far away from the town hall, it doesn't even matter at this point. Baby dragon dropped yet again to go target the town hall, but we do have a archer queen right next to the town hall, which is going to be a distraction for the baby dragon. Another baby dragon dropped. You see the pattern here. This is going to continue until the town hall goes down, actually until the queen gets taken out. So we're going to go ahead and speed it up, that way you can see it for yourself. The freeze spell is going to be dropped to freeze that archer queen, and then the baby dragon is going to be very successful with the elimination of the town hall, while the queen has made it all the way inside the base, and she's also assisted with taking down multiple buildings. But this is just an alternate example on how you can take down the base if it is very poorly constructed and the battle blimp is successful with going in and taking down the Eagle Artillery. And I do believe that that's going to wrap us up for today. Hopefully you were able to gain a better understanding on how the Eagle Artillery works, and also some really good examples on how to attack those Town Hall 11s as a Town Hall 10 to gain that second star for your Clan War Leagues. Again, very special thank you to Max for that email that I got this morning. And also, if you have any additional information or feedback or ideas that you want to see in future video content, you can find me in our Discord server. We are over 12,000 people now on Discord. It's absolutely amazing server to be in right now, as well as the email address. And you can also email us or message us over on Instagram. If you enjoyed enjoyed our content, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe if you have not done so already. And if you enjoy watching us every single day, turn on those notifications. If you need any additional video support or you want to see the Town Hall 10 free-to-play series from the very beginning, click one of those links over there, and we will see you in the next one, guys. Take care.